Welcome to Latina Mic Drop, the podcast where you can show up and show out, where bold moves are not only encouraged, but the standard. This is where excellence meets simplicity and common sense. I'm Miriam Simon, your host, a leadership coach, author, speaker, a mom of three young adults, a grandma in my 40s, and a spouse to the most beautiful, kind soul, on a mission to empower 1 million people to continue to tap into their exponential power. If you're out there building your own family and your own future from scratch, you're in the right place. Join me as we explore the stories, strategies, and secrets that can turn your hustle into legacy and peace of mind. Ready to transform your life? Let's get started. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Latina Mic Drop. I'm very excited to be here with you all. Another week is down, and actually, another month has passed by. So, January, I keep seeing how people are talking about how long January was. Yes, I feel you, especially in the last couple of weeks. There's been a lot going on. It's been tremendous work week and a tremendous personal week. This week, we celebrated my daughter's third birthday. So she's my baby, the baby of the house. Well, the baby of the house now is the granddaughter, but she's my baby. So my daughter turned 23 years old this week. We are also hitting the 8-year anniversary of the passing of my mother in law. And that was on the 31st of January, which is a very tough time for us because she was the life of the party. She was the fun and heart and soul of our family. We had such a great time with her. And during her last year, we had such a tremendous life full of joy and excitement. We were all able to come together and celebrate every single holiday. That year, she lived to the fullest, and we had a great time with her. She accepted me like her daughter, so to speak. And, we didn't really talk much about my relationship with my wife at the time, but she always accepted me and she was always very kind to me. And she was a very loving, full of life person. And she showed us to live life to the fullest, no matter what, no matter our circumstances, and to always be happy and excited. Right now, with the Bad Bunny album, I know she would have loved it. We would have been partying in her house over the weekends and, probably heading out to Puerto Rico together, which I did get the Bad Bunny tickets. I did register and sign up. So if you're hitting the last concert for Bad Bunny in Puerto Rico, I will be there. My wife will be there, and I'm ready to party with whoever is out there. And this week, we're also celebrating my wife's nephew's birthday and also my son in law's birthday. So we have a very packed full week this week. We have happy emotions, we have sad emotions, just like anything in life, right? We have highs and lows. And as a family, we are experiencing it together. This is why sometimes we need to be more understanding of what people are going through, because sometimes we're very happy and excited and celebrating life. And other times we're remembering our lost ones and going through a sad phase in our lives. And, these are things that you don't forget. These are people that you don't forget. And these are people that you love with all your heart. And we are cherishing the moments and remembering them when we had them. And, it was tough. I had actually a post that I wanted to share on Facebook and Instagram on social media, but I was just drawn to tears during the week, remembering my mother in law. And I just couldn't get myself to posting about it. And then, I do a lot of my writing and posting while I'm on my way to work. So I do that at 6, 7 a.m. before 8 o'clock in the morning. And that's when I really am focused on writing or thinking. That's how I do my Forbes Coaches expert panels. I make my submissions that way. I write a little bit about my life or journaling or things that are going on, and my post as well. It was just something really tough for me to be able to do. I felt the emotions that I had to feel, and then it was time for me to get off the train and head on to my next train. And then for next week, I will be figuring out how to get to my commute into New York City. So many of you in the East Coast who travel through Hoboken Path Station, the Hoboken Path Station is closed for the month. Therefore, we need to figure out a new way to get to where we're heading in New York. So, luckily, I've had some great welcoming faces when I was in Hoboken last, and they were able to show me and tell me how to get to work. So, that'll be interesting because I only know one way to get there, and now I have to figure out a new way. So maybe I'll be taking 3 trains instead of two, but it'll be okay. We'll figure it out. And then hopefully, when we get back and Hoboken Station is open, then we'll be able to take advantage of the new station, and it would be awesome and would look great. There's a lot going on. We have a lot of things happening in our everyday life, and that's the way it goes, right? I wanted to talk a little bit about the word of the year for me. So we're heading into February, and what I'm thinking about is the word of the year for me. The word of the year is trust. And trust is something that I have had a very tough time with because of everything that I've been through, because of so many different situations that happened when I was a kid, because of the way that people that I love didn't love me back. And then also because of the way sometimes we're treated growing up in a tough neighborhood. It wasn't always easy to know who to trust. You learn not to trust anyone. And also in my culture, my parents, my grandparents, you grew up like not trusting anybody. No, don't trust a stranger. But especially as we wouldn't even have sleepovers, that was something that we never participated in. I was never able to bring somebody over to the apartment, and I was never allowed to go to anybody else's house. So trust has been a huge barrier for me. And given my long relationship that I've had with my wife, this year in September makes 19 years that we've been together. It's unbelievable how you sometimes just go through life and you love someone tremendously, and you don't even realize that you're not 100% trusting. And man, my wife has so much patience, and she really does love me because there is just so much that we've been through. And trust is just something that I've always struggled with. I have felt betrayed by trust, and sometimes we just need to go with the flow. And yeah, some people will do that, but then they show us who they really are, right? And that's not a reflection of who I am, it's a reflection of who those people are. And one thing I will always do is I will always see the good in people. I see the good no matter what they're doing or no matter what's going on, but I'm not blind, right? You're not going to be blind to the things that they do and the way that they treat you. So it's important for me now to be more trusting than ever because I am going into new territory, especially with my book. So, Tattoos and Pearls, you can expect the launch date in March. I'm very excited about that. And being able to trust someone with my story and trust all of you with everything that I'm going to share is very vulnerable of me to do this. But at the same time, it was very transformational for me to be able to trust myself to say, yes, this is the moment in time where I will be able to share my intimate feelings and how I grew up, and a little bit more about myself and a little bit more about me so that people can understand me a little bit better. I've always felt misunderstood because I am so different. I do a lot of things differently than many different people. Trust is a very important element that I need to incorporate into my life now in order to be able to fully experience love and to fully experience fun and to fully experience like a lot of things. I need to really just let it go. And trust is major for me to be able to communicate, to have deeper conversations with people, to be able to work toward common goals, right? With my book coach, it takes a lot of trust to be able to work with somebody and hand over your work and say, "Hey, this is what I'm thinking. This is the title I've had." That title, Tattoos and Pearls, has been in my head for 12 years now. So I just had a 12-year anniversary at my job in January on the 22nd. So that's something else that happened in January. I've had that title for that long, Tattoos and Pearls, to trust somebody with that information and let them know that this is what I wanted to write about. It's been a, 13-month journey at this point, getting everything done and getting everything situated and getting all the writing, trusting myself to figure out what I'm writing about, what is it that I want to convey, what is it that I want to share, what are the stories that I want to talk about. And so trust is something that is instrumental right now in my life in all aspects, because I need to be able to trust myself that I can do hard things, that I can do new things, that I can over that I can overcome. And actually just revisiting all of these different stories and just seeing how far I have come is actually what has helped me. Throughout this year, I also trusted in a new therapist. So the new therapist was able to help me get through something personal that I was going through. And I was going through a lot of loss, and there was a lot of different things that were happening that were creating havoc for me. And I really needed the therapist to be able to get through it and get over the hump with it and really see what I was seeing. And so trusting in therapy was something that was very new to me. This was the second therapist that I tried. The first one wasn't from my background. So, although it did go well, I felt that the experience with somebody from my culture and my ethnicity was actually much better, because they were able to relate to me a little bit easier. And it was easier for me to go from English and Spanish because I speak in both. Being able to trust in myself to be ready for this was awesome. And it was transformational, really. At the beginning, it was really tough. I found myself in a really tough time, and I was having a really hard time, and I was really going through it. But I knew that I needed to reach out, I knew that I needed help. And I have been here before years ago. And I think that a lot of the revisiting of the old stories brought it back. Therefore, me revisiting everything and realizing, wow, like some stuff and everything is like really messed up. Understanding what I've been through, I guess I had never really like faced it head on. It was something that I would just like, I knew it was there and I knew it happened, but I hadn't really put pen to paper, right? Like, put the stories in black and white and see it for yourself, and then you reread it and you're looking at it and you're like, wow, like this really happened. Oh my goodness, this really happened. Seeing myself now on the other side of all of that, it was really helpful for me. And I cannot explain how important trust is, because of everything that I've had to be able to speak about and everything that I'm going to share. Trust is just a word that I really want to focus on this year. I really want to have stronger relationships. I have a lot of relationships and I know a lot of people, and I'm meeting a lot of people now too. I collaborate with people on a deeper level. I always have mutual respect for others, but some people Like once I move on and I really don't stay connected to them. And for those people that are important in my life or had a significance in my life, I want to be able to keep them. Maybe we don't see each other every day or we don't talk every day, but I do want to be able to keep some of those relationships going, just like I've been able to keep my relationship with my wife and, work on my relationship with my kids as well. I really need to be able to trust my children. They're adults now. So it's important for me to trust their journey, trust their points of view, trust where they're headed in life, trust their decisions, and trust that they can, and trust that I've done enough as a mother to instill in them what I thought was important, but right now it's not about me, right? It's really about what's important for them and what do they need and the support that I need to give them in a different way in where we, based upon where we are today. And so like I mentioned, my baby had a birthday and she turned 23. My other daughter is 24. My son will be 26 in March. Yeah, 26. Oh my goodness. And just to think about that, like, wow, I've been working for 26 years too. I had just started working before I had him, my son. And so there's a lot of things going on, a lot of things that are happening. But being able to trust them and being able to trust the people, trust myself, there's a lot that I really need to be focused on to be able to have these better relationships. I also want to be able to waste less time on second guessing things. Sometimes we spend so much time overthinking things. And trust me, I sit there after I record these podcasts and I'm like, well, should I have said that? Oh, I could have added this or I could have added that. Right. And I think that's just sometimes I just need to like let it be as good as it is. And when I hear it back, I hear it well and I hear it good. So, like I really need to stop second guessing myself. I think right now I'm in a place where I am really starting to trust myself and be secure within myself. And I'm letting go of the codependencies that I had. And it's really transformational for me. I'm also like not micromanaging everything. I used to be like such a control freak. And before I needed that, I guess, because, right, as a parent, I was working very differently. And so I needed to be there. And I had three kids, and, my wife was helping me. But at the same time, like, there's a big responsibility as the mother. So you feel like you need to control every single moment and control their emotions and control this and control that. But we all know that's impossible to control human beings. What we can do is make it as easy as possible for them and help them and support them and guide them. Now, as the adults, right, the relationship is very different, and the trust really, really has to come into play in order for me to be able to be good with them and for them to be good with me. And now we're also having very different conversations, especially about the upbringing, mistakes I've made as a parent who was just surviving. And I'm not making excuses for myself, but like everybody, right? You do the best that you can when you're in the moment. And then when you know better, you do better. And I really want to be much quicker also in my decision making and execution. I am responsible for a lot of different initiatives and projects, personal and professionally. So I want to be able to not spend so much time just I want to be able to make a decision, trust myself, trust my experience, trust where I've been, trust that I know how to make the decisions and go ahead and move on. And then I also want to be able to trust in the environment that individuals feel safe to share their ideas with me. I want to be able to take calculated risks, right? So that's something that I think I'm pretty good at, and it's something that you all can work on as well. It just makes a lot of sense to take calculated risk. I am more of a risk taker because I'm innovative in a lot of things. I do like to try new things all the time. I do like to try new initiatives. Do like to push the envelope a little bit and work outside the box. I'm that kind of person. The challenge is really something that sparks a lot of energy for me. and challenging the status quo. I mean, I've been doing that for a long time and without fear of retaliation or judgment. I talked about the fear of judgment. And in order for me to let go of that, I really need to trust in my experience, trust in where I'm coming from, trust in my intentions. And it will be awesome and I will be great. And you know what? If people do end up, judging me or retaliating or whatever against me for whatever, I mean, that's on them, right? Everybody's entitled to their opinion. It's all a matter of how I react to it and what my response is. And so before I was a person who was easily triggered about these things. I was like easily like I would feel the rush through my body and become hot. You know how they say a hothead? Yeah, well, because of the way that I grew up, I would be very protective and be the kind of person that was kind of like in a fight, and instead of fight flight, like I would fight. Like that was my response. And so now I'm coming from a place of peace where I listen, I understand what's going on, I take in information wherever I need to take it from, or do my research, or call different people to get the full story or find out what's going on, listen, and then I'll make my decision, right? I mean, I'm not going like full on investigator mode or anything like that, but just getting enough information so that I can make an informed decision and trust that what I know and where I am is what's the best. I also want to be able to have less stress in my life, the trust. I've realized that now that I trust more, I'm not so anxious, besides taking my vitamins and making sure that I'm doing everything and eating right and getting some exercise. And I live a very high pressure I work in a high pressure environment. It's been a lot easier lately. And therefore, trusting is very important to be able to say, okay, well, this is the best that I could do. This is where it's at. I trust that I put my best effort into it, and then I will await a response or await the feedback and go from there. Trust is also very important when you're working in teams because people will feel valued, heard, and they will receive the psychological safety that they need. Right now, I'll take a moment. My Latinas 100 sister, Amervis, has Leading with Psychological Safety book out, and I'll put it in the notes. I wrote the forward for that, my first forward, which is very exciting. Like, these are all new things. I'm like, how do you do this? And I had to do my research, and actually through Forbes, I was able to ask a question to other people in the author section. We have like an author group, and I said, hey, I've never done a forward before. I've been asked to do a forward. How can I do this? And one of the main things that I'm realizing is that you can find a group of anything. You can find a group of authors, you can find a group of anything on Facebook, podcasting groups. I'm a part of a few of those, Latina groups. I'm a part of a few of those. And I was able to ask through Forbes, the coaches council, I've never done it. Can you give me some tips? And of course, you can always Google it and look it up and get some credible resources or sources to be able to figure out how to do one. And it worked out really well. And I was able to do that. So you can check out my forward in Leading with Psychological Safety. I'll put the link in the notes. Trust is so important in so many different aspects of our lives. And it's very hard to gain trust. And it's so easy to lose it because once you mess up, right, it's really hard for people. They can forgive you, but they won't forget. And it's something that we really need to take seriously and we really need to work on it. And it's important that we're consistent with it. Before I wasn't consistent with it, and that's why I was running into a lot of the different issues like having stress and anxiety and allowing other people's opinions to control my responses or control how I felt or how I thought. And at this point, everybody is entitled to their opinion. And like Mel Robbins says, right? Let them One thing I've always said is don't take the bait. I will listen and I'll take it in as information. I don't have to own it. I can if I want to, but I don't have to. It's a choice. I can wait. I can come back to the conversation. I can ask to speak to them later, or I can ask, hey, can we come back to this? Or if I'm feeling some kind of way and I need my space, then I need to ask for it. And so now I'm learning to trust myself and trust that I can ask for help and that I can ask for resources and that I can ask for what I need so that the situation, my relationships, everything works out better for all of us in business or in my personal life, right? Trust builds credibility and authority, making people more likely to support, follow, and invest in people that they believe in. And that's one thing that I will always do is I will always be authentic in who I am and where I am in life and what I believe in. And I am not afraid of sharing that influence and I've been building my reputation for a long time. And you know what? The people that aren't for you, and the people that are for you are for you. And as long as you come across, well, as long as you focus on being yourself and being authentic, it will come across. People will realize when you have an agenda. People do know when you're just using them. And it's important that, you trust yourself and trust the moment. And when things aren't going well, always look in. I always say that self awareness is so important and trusting yourself. And, some of us, we walk around with a bunch of doubt, and that only holds us back. I've learned that it was very hard for me to come to that conclusion, and I needed to accept where I was and what I needed and how I needed help to get over the hump because of so many different things. And not having the trust was really causing a lot of issues in my relationships. I've recognized that that doesn't serve me anymore, and it hasn't been serving me anymore. The way that I was thinking about trust was not working anymore. So therefore, I needed to do the inner work and understand and figure out why was it that I wasn't trusting? What was it that was triggering me to not trust? And how that those experiences from the past were showing up in the present, and then how I needed to learn a new way of dealing with it, a new way of trusting myself, a new way of looking at life, a new way of looking at people, things, responding to different things. And so trust is just such a powerful force that can really transform relationships, organizations, and personal well being. That's my word of the year. I want to hear what the word of your year is, right? We all want to thrive in 2025. Very excited and happy to be with you here in the month of February, the month of love, the month of Black History Month. Let me know what else you people celebrate in the month of February, people's birthdays, I'm pretty sure, and anything else. So thank you so much for tuning in, and we will check back in next week. See you soon. Thanks for tuning in to Latina Mic Drop. Remember, you're not alone on this journey. We're building something extraordinary together. If today's episode inspired you, subscribe, leave a comment, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. For one-on-one coaching and more resources, follow me on your favorite social media platforms at author Miriam Simon, or visit my website at Miriam Simon Online. Until next time, keep turning your tattoos into pearls of wisdom and your dreams into reality. Stay strong, stay focused, and let's make history.